Wait a minute. Do you have any questions? Does this film leave you bewildered? Yes, the film is based on certain psychological facts. Please wait a minute. Your questions, our answers.
What a fictional movie it is. A young man getting into a kind of a dream, encountering an imaginary somebody in the TV, then in the mirror, and so on, and finally waking up as a changed person. How unreal.
Though set in a series of fictional happenings, the film deals with a real theme. The young college student is representative of modern youth, confused, disorganized and misled. In fact, even many grown-ups are in the same state in varying degrees as the young man in the film. Interestingly, they are not even aware of this, nor do they attempt to change themselves for the better. Perhaps a small number of people understand that all is not well, but are often unwilling to accept it. Is it not a genuine problem? The person in the mirror represents our real self. We rarely encounter it, but when we finally do, how firmly we avoid it. In the film, when his real self first appears on the TV, the young man just pays no attention to it. But when left with no alternative, he looks so amazed and finds it hard to believe. This is how the journey to self-discovery commences, and then passes through numerous stages: unwillingness to wake up, surprise, evasive answers, and finally self-acceptance and self-knowledge. Towards the end, the young man tries to set the clock right. This marks the much-awaited awakening in his life. This is how one travels towards the truth of one's real self. The man in the mirror, he finally learns, is his real self. This is the real discovery, and the film is all about that.
A little more about the process of self-discovery, please.
Well, just recall what you saw. The young man's inner journey passes through many stages. Our real self is concealed underneath different kinds of masks. To unmask it, we have to introspect and repeatedly question our beliefs about ourselves. This is how the knowledge about oneself gets unlocked. When one tries to know oneself, a new path opens before him. He finds a new meaning in all his thoughts and actions. Then he does not try to run away from his own shadow, nor is he afraid of confronting the man in the mirror. The story of the lion cub regaining its lion identity is the first step towards self-discovery, that is, self-acceptance. This leads to self-responsibility, which is presented through a bird episode. The bird in hand symbolizes our life, our future. we are truly the makers of our own destiny. We can kill it or infuse fresh life into it by living consciously and sensibly. The young man, like everyone else, wants wealth and happiness. He sows the seeds but refuses to wait for their germination. His impatience expresses itself in his frantic efforts to scatter the seeds aimlessly. And then dawns on his mind the need to cultivate patience and purposefulness. This is the second step. Lastly, when he repents for having thrown away precious stones, his dejection reveals how miserable we become when we refuse to accept our mistakes and keep accusing others for our own failures. Men in general, says Swami Vivekananda, lay all the blame of life on their fellow men, or failing that, on God, or they conjure up a ghost and say it is fate. Where is fate and who is fate? We reap what we sow. Everything in this world is of the nature of a seed. It is sown, it germinates, and it gives fruit also.
Assuming that we understand it, what steps should one take to actualize this in life? How to improve oneself?
Let us begin by accepting that human personality has many dimensions: physical, mental, intellectual, moral and spiritual. We must grow in all these dimensions. To do so, we must be open-minded, faithful and earnest. Our efforts should cover 4 areas. First, developing the power of concentration. The more this power of concentration, remarked Swami Vivekananda, the more knowledge is acquired. For behind all spectacular achievements in any field of human activity, there lies the power of concentration of the mind. That is the secret, the greatest secret. And the purer a mind, the greater is its power of concentration. Impurities such as greed, lust, jealousy, etc. only make the mind more restless and scattered. For the mind to gain balance and focus, one needs to live a life based on sound values and practice rigorous self-introspection. Second, ask yourself, is there a reality beyond what your senses perceive? When the mind is calmed and refined, we can find a positive answer to this question. Train the mind to separate the right from the wrong, the momentary from the everlasting, the pleasant from the beneficial, and practice awareness of our true divine nature, which is the eternal spring of strength, vitality, and excellence. Third, serve others without a selfish motive. When we serve others, we in fact help ourselves, because service expands our mental horizon. When we serve, we discover something nobler than our ego and selfishness, and this makes us truly joyful and fulfilled, says Albert Einstein, the renowned scientist. A human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space, a kind of optical illusion. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion